This is episode number 38 of Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse, and in today's episode we will be discussing the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater located in Hollywood Studios at Walt Disney World in Florida.
Everything Disney, in and out of the house. Two grown-ups and a mouse.
Hi there, I'm AJ.
I'm Andrew.
And you are listening to, or watching, or listening to and watching. I say that every episode now, don't I?
You do.
It's a little redundant.
Department of Redundancy Department?
Exactly.
Right.
So you are listening to and or watching Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse. We are happy to have you. Thank you for joining us. Please invite your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your relatives.
Please rate.
Tell your psychiatrist.
Please rate and review.
Please rate and review. Please subscribe. And you found us, but just in case you're not sure how you found us, we are on pretty much all of the podcast systems. Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, you name it, we should be there.
Yep.
We are on social media. And for everything, we use Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse, or of course our website, twogrownupsandamouse.com. Andrew, you should turn your hat to the camera so they can see Two Grown-Ups and a Mouse. That wasn't exactly what I meant, but alrighty then. Andrew just turned his cap for anyone not watching.
That's what you said to do.
That is what I said to do. It wasn't what I meant. So we are going to talk about one of our favorite restaurants. We enjoy it very much, which is ironic that we have not been there in a long time.
Yeah,
probably because it's probably a lot of people's favorites.
Mm-hmm.
And before we even discuss it, I will explain one of the reasons it's our favorites. It's a loud but quiet restaurant.
That's a good way to put it.
Because there is a movie going on in the background, so there is some noise. However, because there's a movie going on in the background, the children tend to be quieter.
So do the adults.
Right. There's not as much talking going on, or you don't notice it as much. So it's very pleasant. And it's at Hollywood Studios, so we like to go there.
Yep.
And it's nice to get a break from the sun and to do the sit down. As we've discussed many times, we have tables in Wonderland. And when we get our discount, it doesn't end up being much more expensive to eat there
Right.
than to eat quick service.
And that was especially true when we first started going there. I mean, the Tables in Wonderland discounted bill here would have been the same as if we ate at the restaurant next door, which is quick service. And, we would have gotten, if we would have gotten an equivalent meal or something like that. So it would literally within a couple of dollars. So
Right.
these days it's still a little more, but
The restaurant next door that Andrew just referred to is ABC Commissary.
Well, we haven't told them we're talking about Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater yet.
No,
so.
we did when I did the introduction.
Well, yeah, but nobody's listening for that.
Oh, sorry. Just in case I didn't mention it already. It is the Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater at Disney's Hollywood Studios in Walt Disney World.
Right.
So as we already said, it's a table service restaurant. Reservations are recommended. It opened April 20th, 1991, so we are approaching an anniversary for it.
Yep.
But I guess in 2 more years, it'll be a
Milestone.
Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm a brain dead for a second. A milestone anniversary.
Right.
There is a seating capacity of 260. And just to give you kind of an overview, I'm going to quote Wikipedia. The Sci-Fi Dine-In Theater Restaurant is a theme restaurant at Disney's Hollywood Studios, one of the 4 main theme parks at Walt Disney World in Bay Lake, Florida, United States. I guess I didn't have to say that part. Established in 1991, the restaurant is modeled after a 1950s drive-in theater. Walt Disney Imagineering designed the booths to resemble convertibles of the period, and some servers act as car hops while wearing roller skates. While eating, guests watch a large projection screen displaying film clips from such 1950s and 60s films as Frankenstein Meets the Space Monster, Plan 9 from Outer Space, and Attack of the 50-Foot Woman. Mm-hmm. So I said that kind of fast, but that gives you kind of an overview and we can go a little more into detail.
Sure.
So I read that they can serve up to 2,200 dishes in one day during peak periods.
Right.
And I think I already said the seating capacity. If not, it's 260.
Yeah.
So it makes sense that they could get as high as 2,200 meals
Right.
in one day, if they average 3 or 4 people
Well, it means you'd fill up almost every seat all the time from open to close. But, in the peak periods, they're going to be pretty close to that. So
Right. And actually, I believe there is a convertible outside of the restaurant that you can, if you don't get a chance to eat there, you can go sit in the convertible and take pictures and see what the tables look like.
Right. Because they are rather different.
Right.
And small.
Which is the other reason that it's easy to understand the seating, because it's a car that most of the seats in the restaurant are in the convertibles.
Well, it looks like a car.
Right. It looks like a car.
Right.
But there are basically 3 bench seats. So it's just a restaurant with a whole bunch of booths. But because it's 3 seating areas per car, and each one of those seating areas holds 2 adults or 3 children, or possibly 2 adults and a small child.
Right.
But for the most part, 2 adults. You don't have to have a party of 6, or you could have up to a party of 6 seat in one convertible.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're a party of 4, you are going to get hitchhikers,
as they call it.
Yes. We have done that before. We have been seated at the table, and then more people come by and they say, "Oh, you have hitchhikers," or they'll bring us over to the table and they'll tell the other people, "Oh, you have hitchhikers."
Right.
So it's a great way for them to fit people in, but it's not obtrusive at all. The downside is it's difficult to be social. If you want to go to a restaurant and you want to socialize with the people that you're eating with, this is not the restaurant for you.
Right, because the people in your party, if you have a party of 4, and this has happened to us before too, we've gone there, if we're 3 or 4, you're sitting in front of somebody and facing the wrong way. So you kind of have to twist around trying to talk to people, and it's not comfortable to do that for very long.
We went with my parents and your mom, so there were 5 of us.
Right.
And we sat in the middle and kind of sat sideways so that we could talk to my parents, we could talk to your mom, talk to my parents, talk to your mom.
Right.
So it's you can accommodate, but it's just something to be aware of. If the goal is for you to be social, sitting in one of those cars is not going to.
Right. And at one time we did go there with more than 6, and we sat at a table. Because
but it was a table that had the car front and back.
Correct. And then there's a table in the middle. So there you're sitting face to face as you normally would. And then they also have the umbrella tables, which resemble more of a, it's like a round picnic table kind of thing.
Right. Because it's supposed to be a drive-in.
Right.
And if you went to a drive-in in the 50s or 60s, they would have a couple tables outside of the concession stand. So it does really resemble that. And if you do a walk-up 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up at one of those tables, because I don't think that anybody that has a reservation, it's my understanding that they will not seat you at those umbrella tables if you have a reservation. You have a reservation because you wanted to sit in a car.
Right.
So they do save those tables for walk-ups, but it can be a little more on the difficult side to get a reservation. So
it's definitely one of the more popular. We found it. It's the restaurant we've had probably the least luck with walk-up out of everything in Hollywood studios, which there's only a couple restaurants. So it's not, that sounds dramatic, but it's really only out of like 2 or 3. So, because we've walked up to Brown Derby.
There's 4, because there's Brown Derby, Hollywood and Vine, 50s Primetime Cafe, and this, and Sci-Fi.
Yeah, but we've been able to walk up to almost all of those. We've had the least luck with like Sci-Fi. I mean, we've only walked up to like 50s Primetime a few times, but we've gotten in almost every time. Brown Derby, it's the same way. It also helps that they have the outside area, and then we've never really eaten in the other one because it's a character dining, so we haven't partaken in that.
We should try that one.
But I mean, literally almost unless it's a dead period of time, we've never had much luck lately with Sci-Fi.
Right, but it's still. We love it, even though we haven't had luck, but that's why, we always try different restaurants because we do go so often. So it's not a big deal to us that we haven't been back there. We will be back when it's convenient, when we're able to get a reservation, sure. A lot of the time, because we live relatively close, we don't know when we're going to get there. And that's why we don't make reservations well in advance. So there's, the benefits and the pitfalls of not making reservations to go to Disney. The movie loop that I believe, I mentioned it in the description. There's a movie that's playing. It's black and white. It's just clips from all these older movies. It runs for 47 minutes.
Right.
And I read that the typical lunch crowd takes 50 minutes or so.
Right.
Dinner takes, a little over an hour.
Yeah.
So being a 47-minute loop isn't bad. Maybe that it's almost ingenious because it's like, people start seeing the same thing over again and they're like, we should get out of here. We saw this already.
Yeah, because it'll be, their whole meal will be winding down. So
maybe they did that.
Leave.
Maybe they did that by design.
Yeah.
They do accept the Disney dining plan for both lunch and dinner, or lunch or dinner. It is one entitlement on the dining plan, and it's the table service entitlement, not the quick service.
Right, and there's no breakfast, so it's a lunch and dinner only place.
Right, and they do accept Tables in Wonderland. So if you have the Tables in Wonderland card that you have to pay for, but we did discuss that in previous episodes. But they do take that, which is great. We used to do Mother and Father's Day themed dinners when we were more ambitious. And we did sci-fi one year. So actually, anybody that's watching the video, we would have dinner at this table. And we bought some poster board and hung it behind the chairs, with little wheels on it to make it look like a car.
Yep.
And we replicated the menu.
Right.
Before we go into the menu, let's talk about things that are no longer on the menu that we miss.
Wow.
If anybody from Disney is listening, boy, do we miss this. The red velvet cheesecake. Yum.
That was the upside down one too, I think.
That was the good one.
Yeah.
And we made that at our Mother and Father's Day dinner. We tried to replicate it and we did a pretty good job. It was a red velvet cake topped with cheesecake, and around the cheesecake was a white chocolate ganache.
Right.
And they gave you a light up bracelet.
Right.
Because it was like the comet,
cheesecake. It was a themed thing. So.
Yeah. And that note to anybody that isn't a baker, don't make red velvet cake. It makes a mess.
It does.
That was the worst part about making that, was getting bread in the kitchen. But the taste was really good.
Oh, yeah.
That was a really enjoyable dessert.
Yep.
And you miss.
Well, the All-American burger was really good. And the All-American burger was just a cheeseburger, and they would slice up a hot dog and put it in it as well. But
it also, I think, was supposed to come with sauerkraut.
Yeah,
you would get it without the sauerkraut
on the burger. So it would be sauerkraut and then lettuce, tomato, the usual
all that
dressings.
Stuff.
But yeah, no, I got a plain, but it was good. I never would have thought to combine a burger and a hot dog together, but it works. I
think for a little bit after they took it off the menu, they still had hot dogs, so you were able to accommodate, make your own All-American burger. They don't even have hot dogs for kids in the restaurant anymore, so they can't, it's not like you can say, hey, can I get, a hamburger and hot dog? Because unfortunately, they do not have hot dogs. So we would love if they would get hot dogs back in that restaurant.
Well, the other thing was that when we first started going, the burger recipe was really good. And it tasted different than all the other burgers that was at Walt Disney World. So that was the main drive at the beginning. And then the menu just started to evolve a little bit, because you also used to get the
cucumber salad. The cucumber salad there was really good.
Right.
And
we've made that a few times too.
Well, when we did the Mother's Day and Father's Day dinners, that was we replicated that recipe, which was really funny because we asked for the recipe and they gave us a recipe to feed 200 people.
I don't know.
It was something ridiculous. It was like, 20 pounds of sugar and, 80
gallons of vinegar and 40 pounds of cucumbers. It's like, how do I reduce this?
Yeah. So we went to allears.net. They have recipes on there. And
we found one that was a little more appropriate.
Right. We found a recipe that more closely matched the number of people we were cooking for. But yeah, it was so popular. We ended up making that over and over again, an additional Mother and Father's Day meals.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that was really good. I forgot about that. That was a good cucumber salad.
Right.
So yeah, now I'm reminiscing. I'm just thinking cucumber salad. I could really go for some of that. But the current menu, if you look at the website, if you want more information, you can see the full menu. We'll just talk about some highlights of it. It runs about $15 to $35 per entree per adult. So depending on what you want to get, if you are on the dining plan, that could be a really great savings for you.
Sure.
You only need to use one entitlement and you can get a $35. I think they have a steak on their menu.
Yeah, there's a flame broiled New York strip. That's $35. What else is premium? The Sci-Fi barbecue platter is $27. Drive-in barbecue burger is $21.
I mean, you shouldn't let the cost of the item dictate what you're going to order if you're on the dining plan. But if you know that that's something you want, then you might want to utilize your dining plan if you're on it.
Well, I mean, we should do a podcast about it because there's a lot of good ways to, quote unquote, game the system when you're on Disney dining plan. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but there's here where you can get a $35 steak and use only one entitlement, or you might have spent, what's the cheapest thing on the menu is like $15. Which one was better spend of your one table service entitlement? Well,
especially if you go to a restaurant that takes two entitlements because it's a signature dining that accepts the dining plan, or it's character dining that accepts the dining plan.
Right.
Sometimes you have to pay out of pocket, so you have to figure what's the best one to pay out of pocket and what's the best one to use your entitlements. We have friends coming in August, and we're going to go to the parks with them. They got the free dining, which is one of the ways that they chose those dates was for the free dining. So they need to look and see how they're going to utilize their plan.
And like I said, because the cheapest table service is probably even a few dollars less, and then the most expensive is maybe a few dollars more. So, but both of them are still one table service. So what's the best way? I mean, hey, if you want the $12 thing, then have at it. But just realize that, you can really maximize the value, or you could be one of those people that write an article afterwards and think you got ripped off because all you did was get $10 hamburgers or something like that.
Right.
Now you're mad at Disney for it. So
for the appetizer, I just wrote the fried dill pickles because that's one of their new signature items there. But they have some more standard appetizers. They still have the chicken wings.
There's chicken tenders, onion rings, a wedge salad. Here's this one, sounds interesting. Not for me, but maybe for you. Shrimp and crab fondue. Yeah. It's a blend of shrimp, crab, and cheese with roasted red peppers, fresh dill, corn tortilla chips. And then they have a sampler of basically almost everything that's on the appetizer menu, except for the salad. So that would actually be good for us because there's a couple of things you like and there's a couple of things I'd like.
Right, exactly. And they have, for the main courses, they have a mix. They have salads, they have sandwiches, they have burgers. As you already said, there's a steak. And I noticed 2 pasta dishes. If you're a vegetarian, they'll be able to accommodate you. If you're gluten-free, they'll be able to accommodate you.
Of course.
If you're low-fat, they'll be able to accommodate you. I mean, they definitely have enough assortment that you'll be able to find what you desire, or maybe not exactly what you desire, but something that'll fit with your dietary needs.
Right.
The kids menu is a little limited. They do have mac and cheese, a cheeseburger, and chicken tenders. However, because they have pasta for the adults, I have a feeling that if you just wanted a plain, dish of pasta for your child, I'm pretty sure they would be able to sell you just a plain pasta.
I don't know what this is, and it's on the menu on the Disney website, but it's called the Kids Disney Check Meals. So on top of the items that you mentioned are beef skewers, which is sirloin beef skewer with mashed potatoes, green beans, carrots, blah, 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 a chicken and cheese quesadilla, and then a whole wheat penne pasta.
You don't know what the kid check meals are?
No.
That's horrible. I even know what they are. So let's talk about the kid check meals for a second. We don't talk about a lot of kid things because we're 2 grown-ups and a mouse.
Right.
But the kid check meals are Disney's way of saying, hey, if you're looking for something a little healthier or a little less unhealthy.
Right.
Because I don't know that a cheese quesadilla or chicken quesadilla is that healthy, but something less unhealthy is probably the best way of putting it.
Right.
Sounds like an oxymoron, but it's not. Those fit into the criteria for the kid check meals because they fit in the calorie content and the fat content and all those things that you're looking for. It's not that it's healthy, but it's a healthier option.
Right. Well, I mean, plain mac and cheese and a cheeseburger and chicken tenders is not going to be
right.
That's going to be very fatty, very whatever else. These other ones won't be that.
Right, exactly. So they do that to make it easier for the parents to say, hey, you're looking for a healthier alternative, look for the little kid check next to it, which I think is literally Mickey's face with a check mark in it.
Well, top tip.
Yeah. So those are good things to look for. And I've mentioned this before. You can order a kid's meal. I've done it at Sci-Fi. Yeah. I remember ordering at Sci-Fi because I think we got an appetizer and I didn't want to eat an appetizer and a full meal, Right. So, and I do that at Yachtsman a lot also. I get the kids' meal at Yachtsman Steakhouse because I want to have a variety of flavors, but I don't want to be so full that I can't finish it. Right. So I'll get the kids' meal so that I can have an appetizer, I can have the meal, and then I can have room for dessert without feeling, overly stuffed.
Yeah, they don't care. I mean, we've never really gone there and tried to truly. I mean, there's obviously if you're watching, we would never split just a kid's meal. But I'm sure there's adults that would. Then they're probably going to get cranky at you. If two adults came in and tried to split a $5 meal and then left, the waiter would probably be pretty pissed. But most of the time, they never give us a hassle because usually we're buying an appetizer, we're buying one full course, lately we've been buying more and more booze, so we'll get a drink at the start. So they don't care as much that they only bought a one kid's meal. So. And
that's another thing talking about booze. I mean, we drink more at Disney than anywhere else because we're not big drinkers. I mean, when we're at home, we rarely have a drink. But, the once a month or so that we go to Disney, we tend to get more alcohol because we're at Disney. Sure. And they've made purchasing alcohol in the parks, they've made it a lot easier. They've opened up more to it.
Sure.
And the alcohol that they have at Sci-Fi, they've had alcoholic beverages on the menu for a while. I don't remember going there and them not having it. I don't want to misspeak and say, they've always had it because I don't know, but I know since we've been going, I remember them always having it.
And they have a full bar, not just like beer or wine or something. So.
Exactly. But now there are more kiosks out in the park with different alcoholic options. So, before people would go into Sci-Fi because you could get a drink there. Sure. You can get your adult beverage. Now it's not as important because you can pretty much get that anywhere. The desserts look like the best part of the menu to me. So I really want to go back there just to try some of these. They have a warm glazed donut with cinnamon apples and ice cream.
Yep.
Fruit salad, which again, a healthy alternative if you want that. Lemon cheesecake with blueberry compote. The Sci-Fi candy bar looked pretty good. That's cookies and cream mousse, chocolate ganache, and chocolate sauce. Or a s'more, exactly. Or a s'mores brownie with ice cream or a hot fudge sundae.
Yep.
So those sounded really good.
They do.
All of this sounds really good. And as per usual, it's making me hungry because we're recording in the evening and it's dinner time.
That's right.
So, did you have anything else? Did we forget anything?
I don't think so.
Other than we need to go call 407 WDW Dine and go make reservation?
I think so.
We need to see if we can get one because this stuff looks really good.
It does.
We're going to try and go there soon and, see if it's just as good as we remember it.
That's right.
But on that note, again, thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Sorry you're looking at the side of us. One day we'll fix that. And remember to tell your friends, family, neighbors, loved ones. Remember to rate.
And review. Thumbs up, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
All those usual things. It really does help us though. So.
Right. So please share. Yes. Don't be scared to share. And don't be scared to reach out to us. Absolutely. We would love to hear from you. And on that note, I'm going to get dinner. So I'm going to say good night.
Or good morning.
Or good afternoon.
Good evening.
Or just goodbye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.